You ever feel it? That static crawling under your skin. Like something's coming but no one else hears the drums. Not anxiety, not paranoia. Something older, heavier. Like the air knows a secret it's not ready to tell. You walk through your day, same routine, same mask, same dead eyes behind polite hellos. But tonight's different. Tonight, the script tears, the stage creaks, and something ancient, something raw is watching, waiting, pacing just outside the edge of what you call real. They never pick the polished ones. Never the shining, smiling, well-adjusted darlings of the crowd. No, the spirit, the rare one, it's got taste, and it's got a wicked sense of humor. It walks right past the perfect and slips into the cracked, the jagged, the flawed. You know why? Because broken things make better windows. Because light doesn't bend through perfection, it slices through scars. That's where the spirit fits. That's where it settles. In the fractures you tried to seal. In the wounds you covered in glitter and therapy buzzwords. It's not coming for the fake strong ones, the ones who perform resilience like it's theater. No, it's coming for the ones who nearly lost their minds and still showed up. The ones who laugh at funerals and cry when no one's looking. The ones who've seen too much, felt too deep, and still haven't turned cold. You don't get chosen because you're ready. You get chosen because you've been broken in all the right places. The kind of break that makes room for something other, something wild, something holy in the most unholy way. You think it's a compliment, don't you? That a rare spirit wants to live in you. You think it means you're special, and maybe you are, but not the kind of special that gets celebrated, the kind of special that gets tested, the kind of special that gets tested, the kind of special that bleeds on the way to becoming. Because when this thing enters, it doesn't come bearing flowers. It comes with a scalpel, and it starts rearranging everything. Your thoughts, your habits, your addictions, your lies, especially your lies. The spirit doesn't want your curated self. It wants the chaos underneath. It wants the version of you that screams in locked rooms, the one that dreams of fire, the one that looks in the mirror and sometimes doesn't recognize what's staring back. That's the one it wants, because that one's honest, that one's raw, that one's useful. You think you've been hiding your darkness, but that's exactly what called it to you. That trembling little spark you keep under your ribs, it saw that. It heard the signal, and now it's coming home. The world taught you to patch yourself up, to hide the mess, to shrink your ache into manageable doses. But this spirit, it feeds on the unedited version. It's not looking for tidy. It's looking for real. It's looking for that moment you stopped pretending and started breaking apart in public. That moment you whispered, "I can't do this," and kept going anyway. That's the altar. That's the offering. You, unfiltered, uneasy, unraveled. You're not the backup choice. You're the blueprint, not despite your pain, because of it. Every failure, every betrayal, every night you wanted to disappear was part of the construction. A sacred demolition, making space for something old, older than language, older than rules, something that doesn't care about your self-help playlist or your morning affirmations. It only cares that you're cracked wide open and still breathing. People will see you and think, why them? And the answer is simple, because you survived things that should have killed you. And instead of turning to stone, you turned sensitive. That sensitivity is not weakness. It's radar. It's signal. It's the reason this thing found you. It couldn't find you through your mask. It had to wait until you were raw enough to be reachable. So now here you are, a walking paradox, a vessel that leaks light and rage and hope all at once. And it wants that, not the version you post, not the one you pretend to be on dates and job interviews. The spirit's coming for the one who doesn't know whether to laugh or scream, so they do both at the same time. The one who shakes but still stands, the one who broke and never stopped bleeding and somehow still said, "Come in." The body. Now that's a funny little house, isn't it? You walk around in it, dressing it up, posing it for pictures, stuffing it with food, drugs, dreams, lies, all while pretending it's yours. But it isn't. Not really. It's on loan. It's a room, a container. And tonight the landlord's sending in a new tenant, a rare one. Not some cute glowing spirit that sings lullabies, no. This one's old. This one's loud. This one doesn't knock. It enters. And when it does, your body's not going to feel like home anymore. It'll feel like a storm, a riot in your own bones. Because the body isn't just a shell. It's a battlefield. You think you're in control, walking upright, chewing your food, choosing your thoughts. But there's always a war happening under the skin, between the voice that says, "Stay safe," and the one that whispers, "Burn it all." You've heard that whisper. You've ignored it. But tonight, the volume's about to go up. Because this spirit doesn't want peace. It wants motion. It wants fire in the bloodstream. It wants purpose. And it'll tear down every quiet corner you've built to avoid it. You feel safe in that body, don't you? You've decorated it with your little coping mechanisms, numbed it with routine, armored it with fake smiles. But what happens when something enters that doesn't respect your defenses? Something that kicks down the walls, walks straight into your chest and says, "We're doing things my way now." That's not inspiration, that's invasion, that's what's coming. And it's not here to make friends. You see, when a rare spirit enters, the body becomes a weapon, a conductor, a speaker. But to do that, it has to break the static. All that noise you've built up, the self-doubt, the trauma loops, the rehearsed insecurities you cling to like comfort blankets, it's going to rip right through them. Not gently, not politely. It'll use your pulse like a drum, your breath like a warning, your spine like an antenna. Because this isn't about you anymore. This is about what's supposed to move through you. You think your body belongs to you because you feel pain in it, because you bled in it, because you danced and failed and got rejected in it. But none of that makes it yours. Not when something greater sees it and says, "That one, that's the one." And don't think for a second that being chosen means you're ready. It just means the war inside you is about to get loud. And it's going to hurt. Not physically, maybe. Not like knives, but like exposure. Like every buried impulse suddenly clawing up your throat, demanding space. You'll twitch. You'll shake. You'll say things you don't remember deciding to say. Because this spirit, it's not interested in your rehearsed lines. It's here for truth. And truth doesn't whisper. You'll feel tired, but wired. Like you swallowed lightning. You'll lose taste for the usual distractions. The food won't hit right. The small talk will sound like static. Because something rare is trying to stretch you. Push your bones a little wider. Make space where you didn't think there was any. Not to hurt you. To remake you. Into something more volatile. More necessary. The war was always happening. You were just too busy numbing yourself to notice. But when tonight comes, when that rare force pours into your chest like gasoline looking for a match, there won't be anywhere left to hide. The body will become what it was always meant to be. Not a comfort zone, but a battlefield. Not a shelter, but a vessel with its doors blown open and its walls on fire. And you'll finally feel what it's like to carry something too ancient to explain and too loud to ignore. Comfort, now that's the funniest trick of them all. Everyone's chasing it like it's salvation. Soft pillows, quiet jobs, muted dreams, little screens full of distraction, oh so tidy. They'll sell their souls for a moment of comfort, wrap their chaos in silk sheets and call it healing. But comfort, real comfort, that dies the moment purpose walks in. You can't hold both. You think you can. You lie to yourself. But once something rare starts breathing through your ribs, the game changes. And suddenly the chair you used to relax in feels like a trap. The bed feels like a coffin. The silence, too loud. The moment that rare spirit enters, it doesn't ask for your schedule or your consent. It doesn't give you time to rearrange your plans or finish that last season of whatever you're binging to numb yourself. It walks in, knocks over the furniture, and starts rearranging your existence. Why? Because purpose has no interest in making you comfortable. It only cares if you're awake. And the sad, screaming truth is most people don't wake up until the floor disappears under them, until the illusion rips, until the quiet becomes unbearable. That's when it hits, not gently, but like a slap from something divine. See, people confuse peace with comfort. But peace isn't soft. Peace is a fight that's finally over. And to get there, you have to go to war with your patterns, with your ego, with the version of you that clings to mediocrity like its identity. That rare spirit, it doesn't want to soothe you. It wants to ignite you. It wants to burn the false layers off and leave you naked with truth. And no one's comfortable when they're being burned clean. Comfort says, stay small, stay quiet, stay safe. Purpose says, get up. It says, bleed louder. It screams, you were not born to be manageable. And when the rare spirit moves in, you'll feel that. In your bones, in your dreams, in the way your heart starts pounding at things you used to ignore. You'll look at your habits and feel sick. You'll hear your old excuses and want to scream. Because you'll finally see how much of your life was just decoration over fear. Purpose demands discomfort. Not because it hates you, because it needs space. And your comfort zone, that's the space where nothing grows. It's the padded cell where your potential suffocates. So the spirit breaks it. It pulls you out. It makes your skin itch with ambition you thought you buried. It makes your mornings feel like alarms instead of routines. And it makes you feel everything. Too much, too loud, too fast. That's not madness. That's the beginning. People will think you're unstable. You'll lose the ability to fake calm. You'll start laughing in places that don't make sense and crying in moments that aren't tragic. But that's because your nervous system is learning how to carry fire. And fire doesn't sit politely. It moves. It devours. It transforms. So the next time you feel restless in your own life, like your skin is too tight and the walls are closing in, don't run from it. That's not anxiety. That's the knock. That's the spirit saying, are you ready to lose comfort and find yourself? They won't tell you this in your motivational books. They won't put it in your 5-step morning routine. But every time someone becomes who they were meant to be, their life falls apart first. Not because they failed, but because the old shell had to crack. Comfort is the cocoon. And the rare spirit, it's the thing with wings that tears through it, whether you're ready or not. They always want it gentle, don't they? A little nudge, a quiet whisper, some polite message from the beyond, like it's wrapped in ribbon and scented with lavender. But this isn't that. When a rare spirit enters, it doesn't come to tuck you in. It comes to rearrange you, and not the surface stuff. No, it goes deeper. Down where the old truths rot and the real ones scream. down in the places you avoid. That's where the change begins. Not in the morning meditation or the positive quotes, but in the rupture. This spirit doesn't whisper affirmations. It pulls the floor out. It shows you how flimsy your foundation really is. All those little beliefs you inherited about what you're worth, what you deserve, who you're supposed to be. They crumble like paper in fire. You spent your whole life building an identity out of duct tape and applause, and now something ancient has decided to barge in and say, "We'll be tearing this down." Not for fun, not for cruelty, but because something real can't grow in fake soil. You thought transformation would feel like peace, but it feels like being dismantled, piece by piece, layer by layer. It shows up in your sleep. It whispers through your body. It makes you question the things you thought were solid. Relationships, plans, your own name. It pokes at every lie you've ever believed about yourself. And not to hurt you, but to expose the rot. Because a rare spirit doesn't live in illusions. It needs truth. Oh, truth's a sledgehammer wearing a smile. People around you won't get it. They'll think you're spiraling. They'll say you're overreacting, being dramatic, losing your edge. But you're not losing your edge, you're losing your mask. And it's terrifying, isn't it? Realizing the version of you the world loved was a costume, a clever disguise. But that's the price. That's what happens when something rare decides you're the one. You don't get to keep pretending. You don't get to hide behind normal. You'll feel like you're losing control. And that's exactly the point. Because control is the biggest illusion of them all. You never had it. You just told yourself you did so you could sleep at night. But now the curtain's pulled back. The old coping mechanisms don't work. The fake smiles don't land. And the silence you used to drown in starts sounding like a countdown. The spirit doesn't want your comfort. It wants your surrender. Not the polite kind, the real kind, the scream into the void kind. And when you resist it, and oh, you will, it won't punish you. It'll wait, patient like a predator, because it knows you'll come crawling back when the lies don't hold up anymore. When the persona you spent years crafting starts cracking under the weight of truth. It'll be there, not to save you, but to claim you. Because you can't half change. You can't tiptoe into your calling. You have to burn. You have to let the false you die. This isn't self-improvement. It's spiritual arson. It's tearing down the house you built from fear so a stronger one can rise from the ashes. You'll feel it in your bones, the need to move, to scream, to finally say the thing you've been swallowing for years. That's the spirit speaking through you. It's not polite, it's not convenient, it's real. And it only enters the ones who can take the heat, the collapse, the transformation with their eyes wide open and their soul already halfway out the window screaming for more. You ever see someone look in the mirror and not recognize what's staring back? Not because their face changed, no, because something twisted, something awakened. That's what this rare spirit does. It doesn't enhance you. Oh no, it reveals you. Pulls back the curtain and shows you the chaos behind the smile. You've been pretending all this time, haven't you? Acting sane, acting balanced, but you knew, deep down, you knew there was something in you just waiting for permission to take over. Everyone wants to be upgraded, evolved, enlightened. It sounds fancy, sounds clean. But this spirit, it's not a cosmetic change. It doesn't come to polish you, it comes to unmask you. It's not here to help you be liked. It's here to make you dangerous. Not in a violent way, no. In a way that truth itself becomes your language, and fear can no longer negotiate with you. That scares people. You start telling the truth, and they look at you like you've gone mad. Because most people don't want truth. They want comfort. And truth is ugly before it's liberating. You ever feel like you've been edited? Like someone, maybe everyone, has been chopping off pieces of who you really are since you were a kid? Don't say that. Don't think that. That's too much. And now look at you, all trimmed and neat, a presentable puppet in someone else's play. But tonight the strings snap, because the spirit doesn't care about the act. It's here for the raw footage. The parts of you buried because they were too loud, too strange, too real. It digs them up, forces you to look, and laugh, and maybe scream. People spend their lives building a brand, a version of themselves that fits, and they guard it like it's sacred. But the spirit sees through it in an instant. It doesn't knock. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It tears the costume off and throws it in the fire. You'll want to go back, wear the mask again, shrink yourself back into something digestible, but it's too late. The rare spirit's not here for your reputation. It's here for your resurrection. And that starts with the death of who you pretended to be. You'll start doing strange things, speaking differently, seeing through people, not tolerating the noise. Because when you carry something this rare, you no longer operate on the rules of the crowd. You're not interested in blending in. You're not interested in applause. You're interested in alignment, and alignment is messy. It doesn't always look holy. Sometimes it looks like rage, like laughter at funerals, like walking away from everything you begged for. And that's the joke. You thought awakening would feel like light, but it feels like detonation. You'll scare yourself. That's part of the process. The voice that starts speaking through you. It won't sound like the one you've practiced. It'll sound older, sharper, like it remembers things your body forgot. You'll look in the mirror and see a smirk where there used to be a question. That's how you know. That's how you know the mask is gone. Because now the eyes looking back at you don't belong to someone trying to be anything. They belong to someone who's become. This rare spirit isn't here to make you behave. It's not some self-help fairy floating in with affirmations. It's a force. It breaks rules, burns scripts, laughs at boundaries. Because what's coming through you now isn't here to be palatable. It's here to be true. And truth, when it finally shows up wearing your face, doesn't care who's watching. They always think they're in control, don't they? Sitting there with their little plans, their 5-year goals, their tidy little habits written in overpriced journals. Oh, how cute! Like chaos cares about their checklist. Like the rare spirit entering tonight reads bullet points. No. You don't invite this in like a dinner guest. You don't set the table and smile politely. This thing kicks the door in, grabs the steering wheel, and drives you straight into the part of yourself you've been avoiding for years. You like to think you're strong because you can resist, that you've got discipline, boundaries, self-control. You wear it like armor. But that armor? It's paper when purpose walks in. Because resistance isn't strength, it's fear with good PR. You've been fighting the thing that's trying to free you. And isn't that hilarious? You built a cage, painted it gold, and now you defend it like it's sacred. Meanwhile, that rare spirit is circling overhead, ready to rip the roof off. You feel it, don't you? That itch, that buzz behind your thoughts. That little crack in your routine that keeps growing no matter how many affirmations you tape over it. That's not anxiety. That's not burnout. That's awakening. But you're still clinging to the life that makes sense, still pretending you can outschedule a soulquake. You can't. It's coming. It's always been coming. And the more you resist, the more violently it arrives. The funny thing is, you begged for this. Maybe not with words, but with your suffering. You whispered to the sky in your quiet moments. Is this all there is? Please, let there be more. I'm losing my mind in this numbness. Well, this is the more. Not wrapped in comfort, wrapped in fire. Because the rare spirit doesn't show up like a blessing. It shows up like a demolition crew. And resistance? Resistance just delays the inevitable. But you don't stop it. You try though, don't you? You double down on the habits, the people, the lies. Anything to avoid that pull. You drown yourself in distractions, hoping it'll go away. But every time you look away, it gets closer. Every time you say, not now, it says, then when? And every second you spend resisting is another second you stay half alive. Because this isn't a choice between comfort and chaos, it's between existing and becoming. People will tell you to trust the process. What they won't tell you is that the process feels like madness. It feels like losing your grip on everything that kept you functioning. Because you were functioning, not living. Functioning. Like a broken vending machine that still lights up but never delivers. The rare spirit doesn't care if you function. It came to make you feel fully. And to do that, it has to burn everything false. There will be a moment right before you let go when everything will scream at you to stop. Your body, your friends, the part of your mind that's memorized survival. It will sound like logic, like reason, but it's not. It's the last stand of your old self. That's what resistance is. The ghost of who you used to be, begging you not to leave it behind. But you have to. You have to. Or you'll stay stuck in a life that looks fine but feels like slow death. You're not being punished. You're being summoned, not to be good, not to be liked, but to be real. And reality isn't tidy. It's messy and loud and absolutely gloriously inconvenient. The rare spirit doesn't enter to maintain the illusion. It enters to end it. And resistance doesn't make you noble. It just makes the landing harder when you finally fall into who you're supposed to be. You ever watch someone about to change and they don't even know it yet? They walk around like nothing's about to explode. Smiling, scrolling, sipping their overpriced coffee, thinking tomorrow's going to look like today. Oh, but the rare spirit, it doesn't book an appointment, it doesn't knock, it invades. And the ones who feel it first aren't the loud ones. No, it's the quiet ones. The ones who've been carrying a scream under their skin for years. The ones who've played nice, swallowed fire, smiled through the cracks. That's who it comes for. It doesn't choose the polished. It doesn't care for pretty. It finds the broken, the misfits, the barely holding it together folks who keep dancing in the storm, hoping someone notices their feet are bleeding. The spirit sees them. It laughs, not out of cruelty, but recognition. Because it knows. It knows that kind of pain isn't a defect. It's a signal. A flare sent up to the cosmos saying, I'm ready, even if I don't know it yet. And the cosmos, oh, it answers. Not with comfort, with chaos wearing a smile. You think it's just another night. Another stretch of time to kill scrolling or worrying or pretending you've got it all together. But something's been shifting, quietly, behind your normal. You don't know when it started. Maybe it was when you couldn't cry anymore, or when you laughed at something that should have hurt. Maybe it was when you stopped flinching at the truth. Whatever it was, the rare spirit saw it. And now it's coming in, not to make sense, but to make change. Change isn't polite. It doesn't knock before it flips the table. And when it shows up as a spirit, something rare and ancient and far too wild for language, it doesn't explain itself. You'll just start feeling off. The food won't taste the same. The music will hit differently. People you used to love talking to, Suddenly their words feel like static. That's not burnout. That's your frequency changing. Your soul adjusting to a new signal. You're tuning into something that's been waiting for you to get tired enough of pretending. You were never meant to be ordinary. You tried. God, you tried. You painted inside the lines, followed the rules, smiled when they expected it. But you always knew. You always knew. You weren't made for a life that felt like reheated leftovers. You were made for something sharp, something electric, something that didn't fit in anyone's blueprint. But knowing isn't becoming, and the rare spirit, it doesn't reward knowing. It waits for you to crack, because cracks let the truth seep in. This spirit doesn't need your permission. It needs your collapse, your surrender, your final, I can't do this like this anymore. It needs your breakdown in the middle of the night, the moment when even your lies get tired of lying. That's when it slides in. Not gently, not quietly, but fully. And when it does, everything changes. Not around you. You'll start seeing through everything. The fake smiles, the empty rituals, the cages that look like routines. And once you see, you can't unsee. That's the curse and the gift. You'll try to explain it to others, but they'll look at you like you've lost your mind. Because in their world you have, but in yours, you've just found it. Found the voice, the flame, the thing inside you that was never meant to sleep. This rare spirit doesn't want followers. It doesn't want praise. It wants to speak through you, move through you, scream through you if it has to. Because once it's in, you're not just a person anymore. You're a message in motion, a walking contradiction, a mirror that shatters illusions on sight. You're not here to fit in. You're here to wake them up. You think it's a blessing, don't you? This idea that something divine is choosing you, entering you, gifting you a glow. That's the fantasy. The sweet little bedtime story they told you so you wouldn't panic when your world started catching fire. But this isn't a gift wrapped in ribbons. This is a confrontation, a violent meeting between who you've pretended to be and who you were always meant to become. And the spirit entering tonight doesn't knock. It demands space, demands truth, demands blood, sometimes, not from your body, from your illusion. There's a version of you that's been living your life like a character in someone else's script, following rules written by ghosts, smiling at parties you hate, nodding during lies, carrying dreams so light you barely feel them. The spirit that comes tonight isn't here to play in that sandbox. It doesn't want the costume. It wants the raw, the unfiltered, the dark corners and the unsaid thoughts. It wants your real, even if it has to tear everything else to get to it. And that's what makes it terrifying. Because it doesn't arrive to comfort you, it arrives to confront you, to stare straight into your eyes and whisper all the things you've been too afraid to say out loud. It'll remind you of the nights you swallowed your own voice, of the promises you made to yourself at 2 a.m. that you never kept, of the person you said you'd become before life beat the roar out of your chest and replaced it with a polite cough. This spirit. It isn't here to validate your trauma. It's here to break the cycle, the one you swore you didn't have, the one dressed up in ambition and healing quotes, the one that made you think success would save you. But you don't need saving. You need shattering. So the pieces of you that never belonged can finally fall away. So the part of you that's been screaming in the basement of your soul can finally take the mic and burn the script. You'll try to control it. Of course you will. That's what we do, isn't it? We feel the shift and immediately try to box it, label it, tame it. Is this my calling? Is this enlightenment? No. This is war. The kind that happens inside you while you smile in the mirror. The kind where your doubts and dreams throw fists in your rib cage while you pour coffee like nothing's happening. That's the confrontation. The truth is invading you, and pretending nothing is changing isn't going to save you. And here's the twist. This spirit doesn't care what you think about it. Doesn't care about your spiritual vocabulary, your rituals, your well-curated little identity. It only cares that you move, that you act, that you burn, not for applause, not for aesthetics, but because everything false in you is finally suffocating, and the only way out is combustion. You will feel like you're losing yourself, but what's really happening is your masks are slipping, your roles are crumbling, and the real you, the unfiltered, unafraid, uncontrollable force, is crawling out through the cracks. People will say you've changed, that you're intense now, that you're unstable, and maybe you are. But maybe stability was just the name of your cage. Maybe peace was the numbness that kept you quiet. And maybe this confrontation is the first time you've ever truly looked in the mirror and didn't look away. The spirit didn't come to give you peace. It came to start the fire you were too afraid to light yourself. You've been praying for a breakthrough. But what you forgot is that breakthroughs don't knock. They kick the door in with bloody feet and a grin. They don't ask what you're ready for. They bring what you need. And sometimes what you need is destruction so deep, it feels like rebirth disguised as madness. So when the spirit enters tonight, don't ask what it wants. Ask what it's come to burn. You keep waiting for a miracle to look like light, to sound like angels and choirs and golden beams slicing through your ceiling. You've convinced yourself that if anything divine were to touch you, it'd come with peace, with comfort, with certainty. But what if the miracle doesn't whisper your name in the night? What if it laughs in your face instead? What if it shows up dressed in chaos and dripping with everything you're terrified to admit you want? What if the divine isn't sweet, it's sharp, and it cuts away the parts of you that beg to stay broken? This isn't about holiness. This is about honesty. Brutal, raw, unflinching honesty. The kind that doesn't ask how your day was. The kind that kicks open the door and starts pulling the skeletons out of your closet and laying them one by one at your feet. You can't lie to this force. It's not interested in the polished version of your story. It wants the blood, the mistakes, the regret that lingers in your bones even when you smile. It wants your truth, not the one you post, the one you bury. And here's the part that really stings. You've known it was coming. You've felt it building. In the skipped heartbeat when something felt too familiar. In the way silence started to feel louder than noise. In those moments where you were surrounded by people and still felt like you were underwater. That wasn't anxiety. That was a countdown. A rumble. A warning that something inside you was too big to keep playing small. That the thing meant to move through you was growing claws behind your ribs, and it was done waiting for permission. So what now? Do you run? Hide behind distractions? Pretend this isn't happening again? Or do you finally sit still long enough to feel the shift fully? Let it crawl through your limbs and rearrange the way your soul sits in your skin. Because once it starts, you don't get to pick and choose what stays. The rare spirit isn't selective. It doesn't come in like a therapist. It comes in like a storm. And when it moves through, it drags the truth behind it like a wrecking ball. It'll start subtle. You'll wake up and something will be off. The music you loved will feel distant. Your favorite people will sound hollow. Food won't taste the same. Laughter won't hit right. Not because you're broken, because you're changing frequencies. The old world can't reach you anymore. You're not sad, you're shedding. That's the process they never talk about, the grief of transformation. No one tells you how lonely it gets when you start leveling up, how painful it is to watch everything you once begged for become irrelevant. You'll feel crazy. Let them call you that. Let them point and whisper. You know better now. You know that madness is sometimes just clarity wearing the wrong clothes. That insanity is just insight with a volume problem. They don't see it yet. The crackle in your voice, the fire in your eyes, the fact that something has entered you, and it's not leaving without taking the old you as a souvenir. You've become a threat without trying, and that's why they're scared. Not of what you've done, of what you might do next. Because the real reason this spirit showed up tonight isn't just to transform you. It's to ignite you, to make you contagious, to turn you into a walking reminder that power doesn't need permission. You were never meant to be manageable. You were meant to disrupt, to unsettle, to crack open a room with nothing but your presence. But first, you had to be cracked yourself. That's the joke, isn't it? The most dangerous people are the ones who've already been broken, because nothing scares them anymore. You'll want to go back to safety, to silence, but it won't fit. You've already been rewired. You've already been marked. And no matter how much you pretend, the spirit inside you knows when you're faking it. It knows when you're shrinking. It knows when you're lying to stay loved, and it won't let you lie anymore. It'll keep pushing, keep twisting, keep burning, until the only thing left is whatever truth you were born to carry out into the world with shaking hands and a crooked smile.